Welcome to Siddha Veda webinar series. Today we have an interesting speaker, Dr. Meenakumari. Dr. Meenakumari is a professor. She is the director for the National Institute of Siddha, Chennai, which is part of the Ayush established by Government of India. She has a post-graduation in Siddha Medicine with specialization in Gunapadam. It's a very interesting Siddha pharmacology, ancient pharmacology. She has more than 30 years of experience as a clinician, teacher, and administrator, and probably as a mother, wife, whatever way, She guided numerous students in their dissertation works and doctoral research works. So we have a very interesting candidate. She's a head of a leading government organization. And today we wanted to have a casual chat on sharing her life story as a parent who is balancing both worlds. How she has done. We are giving only a short gist of her achievements. So she has like a huge list of things that she has done primarily. But first thing that I wanted to start with was a question for Dr. Meenakumari. Let her also introduce herself. But my question would be like, how do you balance this life? Your academic and your professional and your family. How do you balance out after all these achievements that you've done? So please, I welcome you with this question. Yes, madam, please go ahead. You are unmute. I think you have to unmute.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's a great pleasure for me to join with you all in this very good morning. Actually, each and every female is capable to balance their family and career. Nowadays, they develop this capability with their daily routine. Even through some of my preachings from my mother, I have started balancing my studies and household works during my school days itself. She always insisted me to do a balancing job between the house and career. My mother is my mentor, and she taught me to do all the household works. I will cook, I will manage our little home cleanly, and I will do some artwork also. So during my school days, and so I have some passion in my family household works, and naturally I was somewhat bright. I was a bright student during my school days. So everyone motivated me to do something extraordinary like that. So everyone told me, you have to do something extraordinary in your career. And actually, I didn't have any particular vision during my school and college days. One of our family friend introduced me to join in Siddha course. After that, I came to know about all the Siddha philosophy and everything. And naturally, I got my government job after my degree, UG degree. I was practiced all over Tamil Nadu, in the borders of Tamil Nadu, like Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, like all the borders I have worked. worked in 6 places. I have worked during my first 10 years. After that, I wanted to do some PG in our system, so that after my child, she was 1.5 years when I joined in my PG, and she she along with me will go to college, and after that we will study together. With all my books, she will scribble like everything. So I completely dedicated during my PG towards my studies. For the 3 years, I spent completely 3 years for the studies, so that I could able to get this opportunity to promote as a lecturer. After that, some uh, promotions came in a line, and time pass on, I got my professor, and after that I hold some vice principal post for 1 year, and principal post for 1 year. After that, I got promoted in Ayush stream. It's my fortune, I think. I have to do something. Uh, Maybe it's my destiny, I think. So that because I want to do something where whatever I want here I can do. So I have chosen some goals, and one by one I am doing it, sir. This is my simple life story.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, so you have so many challenges, I guess, practices. So, what is the receptivity of Siddha in different states? Probably, like how is Telangana seeing it? How is Andhra Pradesh seeing it? Kerala or Karnataka versus Tamil Nadu. Is there a different kind of receptivity in different places? How do they see Siddha?
Yes, sir. Actually, the name Siddha is coined later periods of yeah, before 100 years before. Before that, the medicine practices all over India is named as Ayurveda or some other name. We don't know. Actually, there is a fight going on, which is the first system of medicine, like that. Actually, there is a uniform system pattern practiced all over India, right from the Kanyakumari district up to the Himalayan region, even in the east and west. Even Sindhu and Harappa also have some findings in finding tools about our medicinal practices. So the name itself was not identified, but the primordial medical system was developed in the world kind. The first land is India, I think. Some scientific researchers also accepted this fact, because medicine is formed, originated from India or China. They guessed like that. So evidences are also found in our ancient literatures, in Tolkappiyam, in Tirumandram, Kalitogai, like that. So medicine practices, whenever Tamil people, wherever they go, they practice medicine and they preach medicines for the mankind. So yeah, receptivity is there, because people are suffering from so many physical and mental, and somewhat beyond that level also. So they seek some help from the experts. So receptivity is there, and after a long period, after British colonial ruling, the medicine system is splitted, like Ayurveda, Siddha, and Tibetan Sova Rigpa, like that. So the medical practice in ancient days are unique and one. So later on it was splitted. So receptivity is all over there, and the same medical practices are in practice in so many places in India now, nowadays itself. Because I came to know some from some sociology professor from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Recently, we had a chat in this chapter. So she pointed out so many articles, how the Siddha medicine can be could be the primordial medical system, because it was practiced each and every house itself. From each and every house we can found so many tips, recipes for small ailments. So everyone knows about the medical practices in each and every home. So this is the it was people's medicine, like that. So people know about the remedies and the disease itself. So they practiced themselves by the experience or from their ancestors. So it was like that, hereditarily it was carried out through the family. So it is the people's medicine, she said. So we had a thought to frame a draft to find out what is the origin, where is the origin from for this medicine system, and what was before it was named. So we had an idea. So like that, it was everywhere in India. We have some health recipes. We know about it in our genetic codes, I think.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I totally agree with you. We are now dividing different systems, and identifying, I think at some point we should see this as a science. Then these all divisions will go away. It's a very indigenous science. So even in our culture in Nilgiris, we had like 4 or 5 different native people, who live there. Malaybal Makkal we call. Each one of us practice different medicines, different medicine. They all are Siddha medicine only. If you look at broadly, not deeper, but they are very unique to that culture only. It is not even known by other. Like for example, facial palsy, we have a medicine immediately made. But we take puliyarai, then siragam, bellam, and the jaggery, and with mata chani. So we use that immediately, instant in this. We have seen these conditions. Immediately, the solution is there. So like that, many cultures. When I went to Nagaland, there are 17 tribes. Each one they practice their own medicine, different medicine. So like this, many things are there. Very tiny little things. All are disintegrated in India. India is like really vast. Of course, there are in other countries also their practice, but the diversity in India is so huge that so many dimensions are there in the medicines, how they practice and things like that. It's all disintegrated. And of course, Ayush is one way to bring all these things. But beyond that, what can we do as people, as normal people? What do you think is your expert? Because government by itself cannot do without the help of people. So, what do people need right now to do in order to have this the whole system integrated? Do they have enough placebo? Do they really believe in this system? Number one. Second, is this system available in a way that it's acceptable by everyone? Is that like, can I believe in a ancient surgery and go to a Siddha doctor who can do ancient surgery, or can I, how much can we trust? So these are some things, that, and Of course, there is a big, after the colonialism, many things change. But what are the steps you have taken, and what is the advice for normal people who are, who wanted to, who don't know anything about it, for example, right? So, what's your
Yes,
advice?
yes, sir. Actually, our duty is to propagate our system and make people to know about the uniqueness and the strength of Siddha system. So this is our duty. Government is also supporting us to propagate Ayush all over world. They are also supporting. Ministry of Ayush is doing their best for propagating our system along India. People, what they should know, I think, is they have to believe certain, to some extent, up to day-to-day life. We have so many inconvenience in our body and in our mindset, in our daily practices. We are having remedies in Ayush system, so they have to practice Ayush system. These are all safer, uh, uh, safer section. They can modify their lifestyle, they can modify their food habits, they can improve their health by modifying these practices itself. So these are all simple and affordable practices in our day-to-day life. So we can find solutions for 75%, more than 75% of a daily inconvenience through Ayush system. So as far as surgery and life-saving, life-threatening interventions, we have to believe allopathic system, because allopathic system developed and achieved advanced in so many ways. So we have to, for life saving and surgical procedures, there is advanced and sophisticated interventions are there. So we can use for that serious and life threatening solutions through allopathic system. But for all the more than 75% of our ailments, we are having solutions through Ayush systems. So people should look after these lifestyle modification and food habits. They have to develop and they have to follow our traditional scientific, because this is a scientific system, because everything is systematically classified and taught us from our textual references. This is not simply a hereditary medicine. It is a systematic and scientific approach, traditional science. So we have to, people should know the strength of our ancient system, and they have to follow our ancient traditional lifestyle modifications. Then only we can have some our innate immunity through our genetical practices. So our gene is very much having some link through our traditional practices. We are very much, our gene is very new to other food like pasta. It's not in our land. It's not from our earth. So we are practiced with the ragi, rice, like that. So we have to follow our traditional food habits, traditional lifestyle modification. Each and every lifestyle tips are having scientific background. So we are in the way to educate the people what is the scientific background in our traditional behaviors, so that people can accept and adapt our traditional habits. This is our duty, sir. We are doing like that. We are finding the solution, background factors, scientific factors in our traditional knowledge.
Mm. So very good, ma'am. What you're talking about is, I'm just thinking about when you're talking about food. So there is today we have like pineapple pizza, so or cauliflower pizza, so they integrated. So ancient and modern. That's what people think, that we have integrated both cultures. I see the danger in what you're talking about, by this kind of an integration, where you make people believe that you can eat in the one way. In one way, it's an advantage because at least you're using all the spices and other thing. But in other ways, it's a disaster, because the way these pizzas and other things that are made, either it's industrial made like pasta and all are industrial made, or pizza is made in an oven, very hot oven. Those temperatures and all the molecular structure will change. So not knowing this, we may think accepting other cultures and other tradition. Typically these all cultures, they did this at once upon a time. They all lived very naturally only. All this food and all were handmade only. So right now, industry, all these things are made industrial, and this is India is becoming like, in one way, India wanted to progress, and this is coming to the field of food, and this is what I see as a threatening thing, because you have McDonald's and Pizza Huts and all these things are coming in India big time. So people like this, and I think that is the biggest threat for. So how do you see this as bearing little kids, or they are going to college or whatever? So when kids grow in your house, was this a challenge? How was their food? Were you able to put all these things in practice? Did you feed them our traditional food, not just like ordinary traditional food, like making um, other people are making, but have you integrated something more than that, like including, say, karisali or adimudram, all these things, or puliyare, or all these things? Did you feed your babies that way? Did you get an opportunity?
Of course, sir. I trained my daughter in her childhood days. I she's she will be willing to take a bitter gourd itself. I practiced like that in her food habit. I will give her some groundnut burfi, or some coconut burfi, or some sesame burfi, like that. So simply we have to introduce each and every one per day, like that. After that, she won't neglect, and she won't neglect. If we do not introduce anything about our anything from our traditional foods, they will not they will never know about the taste and strength of the food. So we have to introduce the traditional foods to our children. Slowly they will develop eating the our traditional food. So sometimes it may not be very a posh, and some look wise it will not such a colorful like that. But we have to introduce our children our traditional foods. Now also she will take our we will have some traditional food each and every day. We will have one traditional food in our daily diet. So we used to take ragi idli or ragi idiyappam, or ragi porridge, like that. So every day we will one meal we will have our traditional food. So she was very much used to it. And um, um, she like foreign foods and pasta, noodles. Yes, here and there she will take, not always. That should not be a regular diet for everyone. So we must be very cautious about that habit. So here and there we can admit. So like that it's going, sir.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. So, very nice. So I would now invite other people, who wanted to ask some questions. So each one, you can raise your hands or you can unmute yourself. I can allow you to unmute, but I would suggest you raise your hands. That's better because Mr. Swaminathan, that's right. Please go ahead and unmute.
Hello, and thank you, Dr.Shan, bringing this wonderful speaker. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your experience in the Siddha Veda treatment methods. Yeah, I live in U.S. for the last 50 plus years. And when I was growing up in the village, in the farm, my father was kind of a semi-practitioner of Siddha medicine in a way, because he taught us about several of the herbs. And when people have for kids, they have some dysentery issues, they will bring their kids to my dad, and we used to take this, one of the herbs, I believe it is karumatai leaf, and she will make a couple of drops from that one, and I think just one treatment that pretty well will cure the problem. So very rarely they will come for a second one. So we used to know a lot of the kupamani and a whole bunch of the other Melangani, Nilangani, a whole bunch of those small herbs we used to take. Unfortunately, they're not available in the part of the world where we live. And so in terms of the practice of the medicine, like you all told, yeah, it was embedded in a lot of different families. They come from generation to generation, but unfortunately, from the allopathic medical system trying to quash both Ayurvedic as well as Siddha, and hopefully in India it's a lot more prevalent. And Dr. Shanmurthy and a whole bunch of others here, they're trying to bring the Ayurvedic system in US. We are very grateful for them that to do this. And the one of the questions I do have, I mean, a lot of the junk food habits from US and the processed food industry in India, I think they're kind of getting pretty bad in terms of spoiling the health of especially the younger generation. So is there any specific educational kind of a public awareness type of a program you have, like especially for college kids? They're probably in their late teens and early 20s. That's when they seem to get into junk food habits like pizza, hamburger, and all the other stuff. So how do you actually educate them? Hey, you watch what you eat. I mean,
we are in the path of finding to develop a program in dietetics, Siddha dietetics. Unfortunately, we are in the process of deemed to be university, so that we can develop such a course to the common people. They even from the US, for a short term, 3 months, 6 months, like that, certificate courses. We are in a plan, and that process is halfway, and it's pending in Ayush. So sometimes if that deemed to be university, we got that status, we can develop a course. We are already having such syllabus. We have already developed, and approval yet to have that approval from UGC and Ayush. So that there is some courses available in some universities, but Indian traditional foods like that, but not exactly as a Siddha diet. So we can, the Siddha people can develop a particular Siddha diet for each and everyone, suitable for their age. So we are in the path, sir. Hopefully we may, if we get that approval from UGC and Ayush, we will develop such a course, and you can also join that course and learn how to take our traditional foods according to our age, according to our lives, according to our occupation, and according to the season itself. So we can develop such a course, sir. But it's available here and there, but exactly not Siddha diet.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been recently diagnosed with a type 2 diabetes, which I don't really believe in taking medicines. I'm strictly by adjusting the diet. I take the bitter cucumber powder and like a neem powder and some of the other Indian-made products, which is probably a lot better than any of the allopathic medicines. And mainly
Super.
diet and exercise, I really think it can be totally controlled.
Yeah, good, sir. Good, very good.
Definitely, sir. You, if you're interested, you can take our Siddha Culinary Medicine. We have courses, and also we teach a youth career accelerator program. What for this is especially for the teens. Youth career accelerator program. It's going to come up in the next mid of September. So you those in there we talk about what elimination diet, what you shouldn't be eating as the main thing. So what the people do here in the health coach industry, big industry, health coach is a big industry. All the wise people, the modern doctors, they're wise. They're fed up with all these medicines, giving medicines every time. So they came up with some solution like, okay, let us see what happens to the people, the patients, if we eliminate the bad things that they're eating. So they removed a dozen, dirty dozen, they call it dirty dozen. When they removed, they found cure already.
Yeah.
So here what is happening in our culture, one side we are giving medicines, which is working in or not working, that's a different story. But in the other side, we have this junk coming. They are continuing to do the junk. So the effect will be, even if the medicine is working, there will not be big effect. So what we need is a new system. So we do this system right now. What we do is that first we take, if you're looking at a patient, we first try them to eliminate all the disastrous food that they're eating. That's the number one thing, because we cannot scale it up. If you're interfering with a lot of parameters are there, if many things are involved, we don't know whether our medicine is working or not. Number one. Second one, they won't get cure at all. They won't move at all. So the number one is to eliminate all the diet and their lifestyle disorder, because this need to be included, because in India this need to be included because it's a new subject. Because in India they talk about traditional, that is very normal to talk about traditional. When it comes to modern, I think we need to include other cultures to understand, because you need to know a global perspective for what people think, so that we'll know what are junk food globally also. Because Siddha is a universal application. Globally, there are junk food. Not only junk, incompatible foods are there. Many incompatible foods. Like for example, everybody uses I like this avocado chutneys. But avocado chutney is like fresh. It's a fruit we will eat with chutney, means it is not cooked. Remember, cooked and uncooked food are taken together. So this becomes a problem. So like that, there are rules and other things, very very complicated thing. But we are at least able to give this elimination diet, and to the extent knowledge of how much Siddha, the bad combinations we're able to on season based, all this we're giving. But this is deeper knowledge. As I told, we need a lot of things. Gunapadam is exclusively with the Gunapadam, your expertise, madam, we can make a very good, maybe we can make a joint course or something. When you have a deemed university, will definitely be wanted to step that, step into, see how we can jointly work together with. This is very very important than even build developing medicine. I think elimination diet is a very important component. Yeah. So so let us invite somebody else. Here we have one hand raised by our Abita from Australia. Singapore. Dr. Abhita here. She was raising hands and then probably she left out. I don't know. So who else? Any questions? You have any questions, Mal? Let's see. Let's add. There is one madam from Mumbai, Malti Nagdev. See what? Hello. Hello. Namaste. You have to unmute. Unmute. G, you have to unmute.
Yes, sir. What you want from me? What shall I say? Of course,
Yeah.
food is the most important thing. Whatever medicine you are having has less effect, but food, if you eat properly and at proper time, it affects a lot. I'm very sattvic. I eat very sattvic food, no chili, no masala, less, very less. So I'm okay. I'm 84 also. I'm enjoying life and everything. I'm happy. So I have made a lifestyle of me. So eat very little masalas and chilies. Eat everything, but in a moderate way. I don't eat any junk food. I make at home. Golgappa, pani puri, anything I make at home with pure water, good water, and pudina and all the things, jeera, which are good for health. So I use them, sir. I'm
Wonderful,
very
wonderful.
happy to see you. Yes, thank you, sir.
Definitely.
Very, so
Yeah.
sweet, madam. Very great,
Did-
very great. Yeah.
Do you remember Dr. Meenakumari? Do you remember
Yes,
Malti Ji?
yes,
She was the one who
yes,
was clapping and encouraging in
Yeah.
the conference.
Yeah.
Now you
yes.
remember.
I
Yeah.
like
She
that.
was very active at the time.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, right, right.
yeah.
Yes, she
Happy
was
to meet you,
speaking
madam.
so nicely and truly, which affected me a lot. I enjoyed everyone here, and I remember everyone. Thank you, Shan. Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
you, love you.
We love you,
Thank
madam.
you, thank
We
you.
love you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
God bless you.
Thank you.
okay. God bless. Okay, so
Hey,
let's. Princess Lucy, you have questions? Abhita is here back.
मुझे आता है.
Abhita has questions or comments, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr.Shan. Thank you, Madam Meenakumari. It was very inspiring to hear your life journey and your story. And I could relate to many aspects of women coming out and doing a lot of aspects, wearing a lot of hats. And one thing when I also relate, I feel that more than doing what we want to do, the support system is something that I always feel blessed with to allow us to do what we want. So I just wanted to ask you, like, were there any kind of challenges? For sure, challenges will be there, but any kind of challenges that made you a different personality, that molded your personality when you were facing that kind of experience and come over it? And how was your support system? Your family might be after marriage, lot of things changes, your husband, your in-laws family, like that. Like psychologically, how was your state when you wanted to pursue all these things? Because without a proper support system, it's not easy for a woman to do what the woman wants to do.
You, madam, very simply you have asked, but I got a transformation during my 15 years back. Before that, I was like a very active and enjoyable, joyful, homely girl, working in our hospital, and After that, I will enjoy my family, cooking and outing and fighting like that. It's going like that. And I was very short tempered during my early days of my career. And so everyone will afraid to talk to me, and they didn't find pleasing to talk with me, because I was very tough during that those days. After some time, I myself fed up with my attitude, so that I started doing yoga and find some guru, and I learned yoga up to 8 to 9 courses up to the silent state. So after that, I have practiced yoga every day, and I found the transition inside within me, some changes, and I found everything towards me was very much enjoyable, and joyfully I take everything, and I can also mingle with people joyfully, and people find myself as a very good close friend. Even though now itself I can join with anyone, up to the small kid I can join and play with them. And even though I can join with any higher officials also, that capability came to me after that yoga session during 2007 and 2008. I have continuously doing for 3 hours every day, more than 3 hours I will do your complete yoga, up to pranayama, like and even silence also I have practiced like that. After that, I could find myself as a transformed version. After that, it was wondering, because I can do things in a different manner, and I came to this post itself. Nobody is willing to take this challenge. So, but I am eligible with my educational qualification. Why not we try? Like that, I openly applied for this post, and with competition also, I got this post, and I am doing my best. I hope people around me appreciated me for doing such different things, and but I didn't take all the appreciation, and even some hatedness also I have received, but even I didn't take both up to my brain, up to my head. So I will focus all my work, whatever I do, even a simple duty today. If I do this program, I will focus only in this program for 10 minutes also. I will totally focus myself into that program, and into that job. This is simple, and it works better, madam.
Thank you, madam. Yeah, this is
Wonderful.
something that I wanted to hear, and I could also relate to my transformational journey. And as you said, the active meditation is something that everyone should look into to be focused on what they are doing. So thanks a lot for your sharings and insights.
Thank you. Thank you. That
Thank
was
you.
a
Thank you
wonderful
so much.
question, Very nice question
Yeah.
from Abhita. So you're giving another dimension, which is very important, background thing, that you're managing the whole thing because you have techniques to energize yourself and balance your emotions, which is very, very important. And that's why I think your achievement, and that what you wanted to achieve, you could, with full support, you could do this because, as Dr. Abhita was saying, if you don't have a family support, it is not going to work,
Of
no
course.
matter what. I think you should be very proud of your, your family members. I think, okay. So, anybody else? We'll have a last question. Anybody, you can raise your hands or you can unmute if you want. You can unmute yourself. No questions? Yes,
Dr.
Yes,
Shan,
please.
வணக்கம். Dr. Meenakumari,
Vanakkam.
வணக்கம். I have a different question about the product that we get from the market. For example, last time when I came to India, I bought some Kabasara Kudineer, but there are like different brands are available. How do we know which one is right and who is controlling kind of stuff? Dr. Meenakumari, is there any way like do they approve or the government approve? Because I can find like, like 20, 30 brand of Kamasura Kudineer. Which one? I always get confused, which one is right one to take. I think Dr. Meenakumari is muted. I think I'm not able to hear you.
Is it audible, sir?
Now I can hear you.
Sir, we have a government screening system through our state licensing authority. You can find their licensing number through the Tamil Nadu state licensing authority, Ayush. That licensing number should be printed in that label, and that company is to be listed in that licensing agency. So we can find that licensing number and product name, ingredients, everything in the label. If the label finds suitable with the licensing number and expiry date, manufacturing date, every ingredients, everything, it will be genuine, because in our state, we state licensing authority make it mandate to each company as a good medical practices. They are practicing as per GMP guidelines. So many companies are enlisted by the state licensing authority. You can find that licensing number and the company's name, and everything should be transparent and visualized in that label. So we can find that label itself. Some companies, by their name itself, some small substandards they have maintained, but there are some reputed companies available in our in that state licensing authority website, or DIMH, Directorate of Indian Medicine and Homeopathy website. So you can find whether these companies are ranked as a good companies, or they have maintained some substandards like that. Some IMCOPS, TAMCOL, SKM, Sanjeevi, like so many companies are manufactures so many things with good manufacturing practices, sir. Through this way, we can find out whether it is genuine or not.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So there is definitely a system exists. So they have to get approval before they bring it to market, right?
Yeah,
so
of course. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So I have a before I can open to Dr. Arul, APG Arul can join. I have a concern, and this is very important thing to think about for future, because see, for example, I'll tell one process in Siddha which you do for vitiligo issues, skin problem. So they use this tetracote and in 10 by 20 square foot space, they keep this tetracote, and every day they try to mix with it, and after certain 3 months they plant the what you call the red amaranth, right? So and that is a solution. So this is a whole process, right? Like that, we have everything. We have a Siddha processing protocol. But how does government see this? Because these all are not modern process. It's not a pharmacology at all. And that particular thing will have an effect in Siddha medicine, because the whole idea is to consciously do this. How does government see this? who has the kind of knowledge, if they haven't done any Gunapadam or any knowledge, how are they going to monitor this? Who are the authority who will know that this is acceptable? So these are some of the questions that I have, because today pharmacological thing, everything can be acceptable as long as you have the molecular structure, it is okay. But that molecular structure is not going to do anything as far as the indigenous science is concerned. The traditional processing step does something to that medicine which will affect our body because it's a wholesome medicine. So in this respect, so my concern would be, how does the authorities integrate this? Because authority should, either the minister should have this knowledge that is not lacking, or the authority should have taken this kind of knowledge if they have to go into the books and read this. So how is this possible?
Sir, actually, this is a challenging task for us. Nowadays, we are facing. Nowadays, Ayush is taking much pain to develop such a kind of background score in this each and every practices. It's like a simple. It's like some Tetran Kotai. You said like it is a very simple process. What is the scientific background in that practice? We have to find it. So this is the we have only the scientific guidelines we are following to prove our each and every practices. So we what is the background, what happens in this practice after using this Tatrangotai for, or even Tutti Ilai for skin disease, like that. We have to develop some we have to find the actual pattern. So we are making them into pharmacological studies in animal studies, and we are laboratory what are the ingredients in that plant. We found that, and we guess what happens after this practice. So we can develop such a way through these scientific guidelines we should develop, so that the whole world can understand and accept our product. So that we probably, it is a very, very tough task. We cannot find all the background scores behind all practices in such a scientific manner. Even though we are we select some practices or medicinal conversions, what is happening behind the all practices. So this is our task, sir. We are doing to develop, we are creating such a background. Even though how Kabasara Kudineer works, we found some in silico studies. We subjected these 15 herbs in an computational research in what are all the ingredients inside the Kabasara Kudineer, and each and every 15 herbs have more than 90 molecules. So that molecules, they are having affinity towards the spike protein in the COVID virus. So these pattern is identified through the computational in silico scientific research. So by using these methods, we found some background evidences through our research. So that it is a very tough task, sir. We are doing this only, but there is no other way to prove our system. So that we are adapting this system for our to develop the evidences.
Well, I think there is a way, I think, because if I look at, I was in a MIT conference, a few years ago. So they are developing, there are a bunch of people who came up with the idea of not using animals for study anymore. So they're coming up with new ideas. where you can relate to, without hurting animals, how do we do this? All these ideas, they are even bringing like seahorses and other things just for, little pressure on them. There are many methods they were developing. So here what I am thinking, my perspective is that there is a little area of knowledge that is lacking in our tradition, because that need to be integrated in the it's a very modern advanced technique. So here there are paradigm shift experiments. See, if you look at Native Americans, the Mayans are now developing their own indigenous science. So there is a way to develop indigenous science as it is, where these parameters need to be included, because pharmacology, this is only for marketing and because the Western are marketing, we are doing this. So for funding and other things, but that's not the truth. The truth is doing it as it is, because these things where we are talking about is an energy based thing. When plants grow in a certain kind of environment in a particular day, those cosmic energies are very different. So picking a plant at a particular day for on the whether it's a root or a bud makes a huge difference, which may not be reflected in the cosmology, in the lab, because there are energy spectrums. Because what we see in the lab is a very narrow region of the electromagnetic spectrum. If you go to infrared or ultraviolet, in both areas there is you cannot see. There are things that you cannot see and or not detectable, but the changes can be seen. If people have seen changes in their patients when they're using a right kind of medicine done in a processing protocol, that itself I think is a statistic. If you're doing for 1,000 people with the same process protocol, and people you do with some people with no process protocol at all, because since they have been used for thousands of things, there are government should rule out certain things. These are used been for thousands of years. You don't need to go for even animal experiments. There's no need for cell and animal experiment, because that's not way our systems were designed. So these are some things that we need to do, like a proposal or something for the government to make them understand that there are new methods, other ways of doing things. So that's what my thinking is. What do you
Of
say?
course, sir, some Siddha experts, they claim Siddha drugs cannot be measured by scientific advanced modern scales. So people, they urge us to develop a Siddha way of assessments without doing some the animal study, pharmacological study, or like that. So people are there, but the modern scientific world urges us to develop a
Right.
scientific background, sir, so that
Western scientific. So you
yeah,
say
Western,
that's also scientific. They wanted a Western scientific, because Western it's like a marketing things. You need
yeah,
to have a
yeah,
cell
yeah,
phone. So
yeah,
making everybody buy a cell phone like that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
They can't understand our
So
traditional science backgrounds.
yeah, they haven't understood any culture. Only their
Yeah, yeah.
culture. We need to eat pizza. We need to eat. We don't have to understand what is rasam, but you eat pizza, I will market it. That's what is
Yeah, yeah,
happening. So we need to be really careful in one thing is to suppress our own traditional culture by bringing in this, because you are not taught this knowledge how to do research and everything to the if they are traditional practitioners, right? So just
yeah.
because they don't know the modern thing, we should not suppress them in the knowledge. It is you who understand how their research is structured. So the people who are educated in modern, they need to understand. They have to go and dig in and understand how this is structured. It is very structured. It's axiomatic shift. It's called paradigm shift. It's a whole culture. Why should only Western people develop science? And science also need not be developed in different ways. Science itself is based on assumptions. All things are made up of all. If your molecular structure and all are not real, all simulations are not real. There are so many assumptions taken in simulations. I am in a
Assumptions.
very simulation
Yeah,
industry. I've been doing all kind of thing. I have a very team of people. Niache University, they are highly competitional. So we have like terahertz spectroscopy. One of the papers We release all our molecular structures are human made. We take a lot of things that are not to accuracy. There are so many plus and minus there, so together, if you put all this together, it's a theory based. So we shouldn't think that this is the truth, but it looks like it is the truth. So I think we need a new system, and that's the indigenous system of developing, and that's what we are. Siddha Veda is trying to bring this indigenous system, indigenous type of research. That is what is needed for a long-term solution. For a short term and getting grant and all, this is okay, but that's not going to be a sustainable way, and that's not the way also. It is suppressing your own culture by not understanding the indigenous knowledge. So I think it's frozen. Okay, so we will wait for Madam to join. Okay, yes, Madam. So that is one thing. I don't know if you were frozen for some time, if you heard everything or not. But this is my own, probably, because of my own experience I'm talking about. And we need to really develop an indigenous research protocol, an indigenous research protocol for the whole thing. And from 2014, I have been sending proposal to the government from Manmohan Singh period. But I want like the right person who can understand this. That's the challenge there. And now there's a lot of awareness. I think the government, with all people like you and all, we can take this forward. I think so. So thank you for your participation today. For your time, and I think you're delayed by 7 minutes. Okay, so I thank you everyone. So we will have our courses Siddha Veda. We were going to start a Siddha lifestyle management course, and then there will be a course on youth career accelerator program, and then we also have a conference in Dubai, November 15th. Okay, this is a big expo. You can expo all our sustainable Siddha, all these products can be displayed there, and 3 days, 15, 16, 17, and then we have 3-day conference and retreat, and then touring, etc. So 1 week, people who wanted to take a vacation, just we are doing trying to get a charter flight from India, from Bangalore and Coimbatore city, and then from here, if there are a bunch of people who are traveling, we can travel very cheap. You can travel. If I have 30 to 50 people from here traveling, so we're planning. So anybody wants to join, you want to take a break, it's a very good time for relaxing. Come and relax. A lot of people come, and we can all do a very good. Madam knows how the retreat went in. The conference went in recently in India, so we're going to have much more developments there. And we are planning also for all visas, like a gold visa for everyone who wanted to enter. So we are trying to get that. So please make use of this opportunity. Okay. So thank you all. If you wanted to visit siddhaveda.org, if you have any questions, info@veda.org. Okay, info@veta.org.
Dr. Shan,
yes.
Dr. Shan, sorry if it is too late. Just wanted to make just one additional input.
Yes.
Do we have time, like 2 minutes?
Yeah, quickly go. I think Madam might have to. Yeah, you go ahead, please.
So the one thing that Dr. Shan, that you were talking about establishing our own way of research.
Yes.
So being as a medicinal synthetic modern medicine scientist in 20 years, I always looked into the Siddha aspects and how it works. So simply, if we want to see no modern medicine, if anything works in consistent and safe manner, and it is good enough, there is no need to completely tell how it works and all those things. One example I will tell: ivermectin.
Right.
Nobody in the world still don't know how it works, but if it works, okay. So if I do research, this is what I do. For example, Kabasura Kudi, there are like 20 varieties are available, right? I will take one of them and see which one works best. Then I will make them as a baseline. For example, then I will profile it. Profile means like some kind of PLC studies or something. Then I will enforce everybody to follow that the baseline profile in their manufacturing. And then I will try to find some kind of like a biomarkers. For example, if it reduces the fever, that's good enough. We don't need to prove. Okay, you are already seeing that effect. But in addition to that, okay, I will have some kind of biomarker or CRP studies just like add into that. So that way we don't to really go into the molecular level of disseminating our Siddha formulation, because formulation itself is good enough to go. Only thing, consistent effect and observation, so that the world people, everybody can exist at the same time. So that's my thought.
Exactly.
We don't need to
definitely
go into that. If I have money and time, that's what I would do. I will take one formulation, establish consistent, safe, so that global people can access. I just want to add this.
Definitely. See, that's the way to do. So one thing that we can do is like take a traditional processing system and see the benefit of it, and then you can say any kind of the thing that is done, different things, and see there is a difference. Everything will have an effect, because the property of that particular component will have its own effect, no matter what. Say for example, Valala says karisale evida tandaramainum ni karisale eduthuko, right? Take any trick to take karisale. So but karisale, if you're taking to Valalai or anything, like we can develop our own, or there is a traditional way. Particularly they say, our karisale is coming from Kutralam in that moon Arvi on a particular day. They're taking the flower, leaf, etc. The benefits are different. So we can even see the difference between that kind of karisale versus normal karisale. Both will have an effect, right? So maybe that is very deeper and it is working, and maybe pharmacologically this might also work. I'm not saying modern, we need modern tools and modern research methodology, and then we can apply it to the ancient way. Statistics is anyway needed, no matter what. For statistics is modern and ancient both. I think, yeah, that will be wonderful thing. We need modern scientists don't need to do this. So but the understanding should be there, like these things, parameter, we should not neglect that. People say, what if I do this? Of course it is going to change many parameters, because one medicine is not meant for only one disease. All Siddha medicine, one medicine will cure like 10 to 12, 15 things each. Some medicines, they cure like 26, 27 types of disease, right? Aswadi and all is there. They have the capability. So like that, we can look into, how it works. Wonderful. Okay. Shall we conclude? Okay. So thank you everyone, and we will see next with a speaker. But definitely, madam, your wonderful insights about balancing this. Your achievements are really great achievements. You're a woman leader. I say you're going to be motivating several people. Okay, you're saying that we can do it. We can do it, in a bigger way and you're doing a very conscious service. So it's really wonderful. So thank you so much for your time.